First, we issued our second 114 information request, and this was to require the company to install fugitive dust or air monitors at the facility, right at the fence line of their facility. This was going to help us collect the data so we could understand what the actual concentrations were of dust in the air near the fence line of the facility. So the request itself is very complex because the equipment you need is very specialized, and also we had a lot of quality control requirements to make sure what we were getting we can really use as evidence. And so we're still working with the company. I know there's been some questions where the monitors are at. It's complex. The request is still out there. We are still pursuing that. So if there's questions about that, that's where we're at. The second thing we did was to collect dust wipe samples. So I know there's been a lot of questions about this, and this is definitely something I want to spend some time on so everyone can understand that. Specifically what we were looking for was, are there going to be pollutants that we can identify that can link back to the company? So we're looking at two questions. Is there dust, and can we link that dust to the company? So MDQ went out for us and collected some of these dust wipe samples. They collected a total of 5, but there was one control, so it was really 4 unique locations. And those locations, we haven't really shared those because they're private residencies or businesses, and they haven't given us the written consent we need to release their personal information. So I know that that's been a concern, but they were all taken in the Lance area, and they were all very close to the facility. Sorry, I'm shaking a little bit. Okay. But one of them was a public space, so we can share that, and that was a park bench located near Front and River Street, just northeast of the facility. So that is one of the sample locations. Okay. So again, we weren't looking to see if we could understand health impacts because we wouldn't know exactly how long that dust had collected there. We really just wanted to know, is this dust from the plant? And then we can start to ask those next questions. So we had the dust wipes analyzed for many different pollutants. And one of the categories of chemicals was called polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, or PAHs. And these chemicals come from the burning of wood or creosote-treated railroad ties. But what we found is that it's also very common to come from wood-burning stoves, vehicle exhaust, cigarette smoking. So we really couldn't link those particles or those chemicals to the plant. So we did additional testing. And we also ran tests for pentachlorophenol. And we're confident that pentachlorophenol can be linked to the plant. There's no other major sources of that in the town. And we did identify pentachlorophenol at 2 locations. But I just want to reiterate again, just because pentachlorophenol was identified on a wipe, we can't necessarily make any health determinations about that because we don't know, how long did the dust sit there? Was it a fresh sample? Had it been collecting for years? We don't know. So what we do know is that we needed more information, and that's where I get to our third information request. And that's something that just recently went out on April 1st. We required more stack testing at the main stack. So not just pollutants that are there permitted for, but many more. So dioxin-furans, as well as some other metals, just to understand what are going to be the rates that those pollutants are coming out, so we can do a health impact assessment. And we did, I know that there's also been some other formal requests from the community, but EPA itself placed formal requests to the Agency for Toxic Substances and Disease Registry, or ATSDR, and are asking them to take the results that are going to come from this stack test and do a formal risk assessment for the town.